Good evening. My name is Majorie, a faculty member of the Department of Philosophy at the University of San Carlos here in Cebu City. I entitled my lecture, The Flourishing of Humanistic Buddhism in the Philippines. And in my PowerPoint, you can see the facade of FGS Chuun Temple in Cebu in the background, nestled in a sprawling garden. And you can also see an image of a child gazing in awe. Perhaps some of you find this image different. Maybe knowing that this whole lecture is on Buddhism, perhaps you might still even be looking for the traditional Buddha image. But this is precisely the kind of thinking, inquiry, and wonder that I want to evoke in you right at the very start. I wanted you to be able to ask upfront, so what then is Humanistic Buddhism? This lecture is actually divided into two parts. First, I will be unpacking the concept of Humanistic Buddhism, and I will focus on the development of Humanistic Buddhism in the Philippines. According to Dr. Lewis Lancaster, there are contemporary approaches to the use of Buddhist practices that can be considered revolutionary in terms of how we study and evaluate the tradition. Since these practices are directed toward the public domain, they are one type of humanistic Buddhism. Further, our contemporary world, the trails by which Buddhism is making inroads into social and cultural spheres, leads not just to monasteries, shrines, temples, or religious organizations. Instead, we can see the imprint of influence taking place in universities, public schools, business headquarters, hospitals, mental health clinics, prisons, internet sites, and films. In short, humanistic Buddhism is Buddhism as needed by the society today. The idea is to convey the original teachings of the Buddha with modern lenses. It is not just about memorizing sutras. It is not about the enumeration of the Noble Truth and the Eightfold Path, nor is it simply the mastery of the 12 links of dependent origination. Rather, the goal of humanistic Buddhism is to apply the core teachings of the Buddha in a manner that is current, relatable, and adaptable to our present time. So, humanistic Buddhism is really everyday Dharma. When you say Dharma, it pertains to the teachings of the Buddha. So, humanistic Buddhism is really everyday Dharma for everybody. Or better yet, it is the practice of the three acts of goodness, namely, to think good thoughts, speak good words, and do good deeds. Thus, in filtering traditional concepts, biases, and misconceptions to allow the Buddha's compassion and wisdom to shine a light of hope to humanity. But then we can perhaps ask ourselves, why? Why do we need the Buddha's wisdom to shine a light of hope to humanity? Earlier, you heard Dr. Cecil mention the VUCA world, where our reality is permeated by a downward spiral of volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. These are common sentiments that can easily be addressed through the teachings of humanistic Buddhism. The cluster of core cardinal Buddhist virtues of loving kindness, compassion, sympathetic joy, and equanimity, as well as the practice of the four givings, that is, by offering people joy, hope, confidence, and convenience, are timeless and universal teachings that people nowadays can easily adopt and practice. Also, to address this VUCA world phenomenon, Venerable Master Xing Yun emphasizes self awareness and self improvement by offering insights into the truth of peace, stability, freedom from fear and sorrow caused by birth and death. Humanistic Buddhism conveys to the human world original intents to teach, to instruct, to benefit and bring joy, to attain the Buddha's insight. We all have to learn how to reinvent ourselves if we want to remain relevant in a fast-paced world of change. Although Venerable Master Xing Yun is not the founder of Humanistic Buddhism, he has certainly been a part of the change, and in the process, he revolutionized traditional Buddhism to accommodate today's consciousness. The emerging global communities have opened new doors, and Venerable Master Xing Yun believes that Humanistic Buddhism should step through those doors and provide support for the era. He proposed to once again look at the open door of today and ask the question of how to step through it, provide support, and remain relevant. The vision of Venerable Master Xing Yun is the propagation of the teachings through culture, education, and charitable works. In this slide, you can see that there is a meditation session being conducted inside the city jail, a linkage in one of the universities in Cebu, and the readiness to help the poverty and disaster-stricken barangays of Cebu and Bohol, its neighboring area. In the Philippines, specifically through Fo Guangshan Mabuhay Temple in Manila, Chuon Temple in Cebu, Yuan Thong Temple in Bacolod, and Fo Guang Yuan Iloilo, the vision of Venerable Master Xing Yun has led into fruition and has extended far and beyond the four corners of the temples. Now let's have a quick look of the timeline and history of Humanistic Buddhism in the Philippines from 1989 to 2020. As you can see, from the vision of one emerges the humanistic community. And if we take a closer look, in the year 1989, it was the laying down of the foundation. Then, the period of Dharma, or teaching, happened around 2009 to 2016. And the succeeding years up to the present transforms to the period of Buddhist Enterprise, where connections and linkages are built and affinities flourished. Here in this slide, you can see the 4 FGS temples in the country. In 1995, BLIA, or Buddha's Light International Association, the lay organization of FGS, was established and has fully supported projects and activities like the annual celebration of Chinese New Year, Veggie Plan and Food Fair, Buddha Birthday, and Sangha Offering Day, among others. The activities are all about faith and religious culture, as well as morality, that is, the interplay of Dharma and compassion. 2016 was a groundbreaking event through the establishment of Guangming College, which offers the following programs: Buddhist studies, performing arts, dance, and theater, and sports science. GMC is also the first and only Buddhist college in the country. It capitalizes on life education, Buddhist ethics, that just really translates to the practice of the three acts of goodness. In 2020, when the world was suddenly gripped by the pandemic, the new norm ushered and intensified the applicability of humanistic Buddhism by exemplifying values of compassion, diligence, and responsiveness to the call and challenges brought about by COVID. Immediate help was extended in the forms of food and health packs given to the sectors who were much in need. Zoom clinics to simply reach out to family, friends, and the community who were made to stay home because of the lockdown. Dharma talks became widely anticipated and available online that help in redirecting thoughts from the confusion of the present to the value of solidarity, oneness, and interconnectivity during the most uncertain times. At this point, I'd like to just cluster the important features of humanistic Buddhism in the Philippines, the flourishing of the three acts of goodness as envisioned by Venerable Master Xing Yun. In the field of education, the establishment of Guangming College as the realization of hopes and dreams to mold individuals who can encourage and inspire students to be of service to others, both educators and students, and even guiding venerables join hands to be the catalyst of change for the world to heal and be a better place. In the field of performing arts, the staging of Siddhartha the musical did not only showcase the life of the Buddha, but it was able to reach out to countless people from all over the world, teaching Dharma propagation through the arts. It was uniquely packaged, featuring an all Cebuano cast from the Philippines to the world. The Buddhist culture has also been recognized through the years, and the openness of the Filipinos to learn something new and experience something different became evident when droves of Filipinos flocked the temple during Chinese New Year and Heritage Night, where the Buddhist tradition of calligraphy writing, tea ceremony, and meditation, among others, were exhibited. Charitable deeds of the heart of the Venerable Master Xing Yun comes from a very deep sense of commitment to show compassion from that student who is in need of an education to that artist who needs an outlet to display a performance. The commitment to help extends to those who are lost in existential angst by giving and finding solace in the Buddhist teachings, to going out of our comfort zones to personally distribute basic necessities during calamities such as earthquakes and typhoons. These activities of goodwill to the community spell what humanistic Buddhism is all about. It is to reach out to whoever is in desperate need. It is to show your presence and support to people who need it the most. It does not cost much, but its effects makes the world a better place, not just for us, but to the future generations across different landscapes. Humanistic Buddhism is a reflection of the Buddha's humanity, and it should be our blueprint for life. Thank you very much.